What's up, my comic book brothers and my comic book sisters from another mister? Today we're going to do a comic book review of Spawn, issue number 175, the unsettling and brutal conclusion of the true origins of Gunslinger Spawn, part 2, brought to you by RatedComics. Let's get to it. And I did say part 2, so if you haven't checked out part 1 of this video, I'll put the link in description, card at the end of this video. You gotta check it out, but I'll give you a quick summary of it real quick. When a mysterious man in white offers the two men the chance to cheat death, Al Simmons' ancestor refuses to sell his soul. Old Job, however, takes the offer. The Buffalo Soldier narrowly escapes being hanged, but Old Job is not so lucky. That night, his corpse rises from the dead as a Hellspawn, eager to wreak a terrible revenge. I don't even know a lot of context, but that's it. So we begin this issue in a private room in the Lucky Strike, Bane's popular saloon and cat house. We see this lady about to, get jiggy with it with this hangman. This hangman's like, come on, lady, I know you saw the way Old Job was wriggled up like that. I'm long, I'm strong, I'm down to get the friction on. Anyways, I'm putting a lot more on it than what it really is. But he tells her, have you ever had a hangman in your bed? And she says no. And she screams because she sees something behind the hangman. He's thinking, I believe the lady's impressed. And Gunslinger Spawn with his hand on the gun's like, nah, I'll take credit for that. So in downstairs, we see Ed Kemper talking about, what's good for me is good for the town of Bane. And this town of Bane is going to prosper once I acquire Old Job's land. And everyone's just like, okay, we're going to celebrate. And then all of a sudden, they hear a gunshot. And Ed Kemper's like, what the hell is that? And the bartender's like, well, Carl's upstairs with Nancy. And Ed Kemper's like, does he always have to fire off his cannon when he's having his way with the doxy? Come on now. Somebody needs to go up there and tell that man to hold his nose. Well, apparently it can't. So Carl's mask with blood goes on top of their poker table. What in the hell? Is this someone's damn fool idea of a joke? No, they realize that that's Carl's mask. And Gunslinger Spawn tells him, I told you, I see you in hell, Kemper. Just didn't have the patience to wait on you dying, so I brought hell along with me for your convenience. Old Job, you call me, huh? Well, here's a new scripture for you. I am returned to cast abroad the rage of my wrath, returned to tread the wicked in their place. And I looked up that scripture, and that scripture is from Job chapter 40, verse 11. Here's your hangman safe from the sin of fornication. Oh, Lord, is that old ghost Job? Yeah, that is Job, so it doesn't matter. Just shoot the damn bastard, says Ed Kemper, and all hell breaks loose in that saloon. Gunslinger Spawn, Jeremy Winston, is just like, I'm just taking a fine shooting, gentlemen. There's living proof you can't kill a corpse. But this corpse can surely kill you. And he shoots back at him, and they all go down like gunslinging dominoes. Run, Kipper, run as hard and fast as you like, boy, says Gunslinger Spawn. I'll find you when I'm good and ready. Well, he's good and he's ready. It's just a matter of time, right? So Gunslinger Spawn gets shot by this shotgun, and it leaves a good sized hole in his chest. And all he can do is admire that hole. And he's like, well, what the hell have I become? What did you people make me do? And it's just rage and confusion and anger that he's going through, and revenge. And he shoots. And you could tell these bullets are not your typical bullets. And he notices that. It seems my shooting irons have been approved upon too. And this guy is ready to leave, hands up like, please, please don't shoot me. A Gunslinger Spawn's like, did I give you permission to leave? I didn't do nothing. I swear. Nothing? You did nothing, says Gunslinger Spawn. There lies your guilt. Boom, and shoots him. If you haven't watched part 1, Spawn 174, you gotta watch it, because I left a lot of context out as to why this is happening, because this issue is just a serious bloodbath. Francis Parker, the ancestor to Al Simmons, wakes up to a sound, distant gunfire. But his dream, before he wake up, he dreamed of a man in white and is offered a cheap death for the price of one eternal soul. Settle back, son, says the doctor. That'll be the Saturday night rowdies letting off some steam at the saloon. And the marshal's like, I have to leave you guys here, Doc. I'll send Silas back here if I come across him. Anyone tries to come up in here, you take one of those rifles from the back, because this ain't your typical Saturday night rowdy. There's a whole lot of gunfire and something is going down. And the doctor's like, I'm not a shooter. Mine's a healing profession, Marshal. I never handle the gun. So they go outside and they see that the saloon is on fire. And the doctor's like, that's no kind of fire I've ever seen. And it's not. So they see Silas, and Silas is like, oh, Job has come back. That's the end of him. He's done. So Doctor's like, don't let these flames near you, Marshall. That's no normal flame. And Francis Parker, Al Simmons' ancestors, like, well, I'm going out. You know, I got to do this. And the Doctor tells us, get your ass back in the cell. Well, he's right. There's nothing normal about this. Well, you aren't fit to be on your feet, says the Doctor. Well, I'm fit enough, and you need a man who can handle a gun. Oh, says the Marshal, you want a gun now? You want me to put a weapon in the hand of a man wanted for treason, desertion, and murder? And Francis Parker's like, I guess I do. So we go back to this pandemonium of Gunslinger Spawn's revenge and the resurrection of him, and he's just going to work. And when the Doctor finally sees us up close, he's like, Lord, have mercy. Mercy, says Gunslinger Spawn. You'll find no mercy. Boom! Shoots, and he shoots him right there, and the Doctor's like, damn, that burns. This ain't your typical bullet right there. And he goes to work, and some more work, and all these gunshots keep going at him. So Francis Parker and the Marshal keep shooting. All they notice is that Gunslinger Spawn disregarded their fire. He turned away and walked away like they didn't exist, and he goes on the hunt for Kemper. Come on out, Kemper, I smell you stink. Damn you if you didn't piss yourself back there. And Kemper's like, I never killed a human being for the pleasure of it, Job. And he's hiding inside. If that's who you truly are, your wife and child were not intended to die. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. Now get the hell out of my town. He throws his dynamite at Gunslinger Spawn. He catches it, looks at it just for shits and giggles. I just want to see if it has any effect on me. And it explodes on his face. But the end result is it just takes the skin off his face and he looks more hideous than before. Your turn, Kemper. No, please, says Kemper. Look at you. How did filth like you come into this world? And he puts him in a chokehold, lifts him up, and gets a close-up. And Gunslinger Spawn just adds more insult to injury at that point. What were you? The last squirt from a limp prick? Spatter in some pox-ridden horror stinking cot? I had to make sure I didn't say the C-U-N-T word, because damn, that would I almost did that. I'll give you a finer exit from this life than the manner of your conception. And he puts a stick of dynamite in his mouth and we're just gonna take a moment of silence to admire the artwork and the sheer brutality with that panel right there. So all Marshall and Francis Parker can do is just watch in sheer shock. And they come to the conclusion that that thing is some kind of demon I'm going to send for help. Come on, let's move before he turns his attention to us. Well, too late for that. So Francis Parker's like, what are you doing? I'm sending a telegraph. What will you tell him? I doubt that a tale of a walking dead man will bring them running. I'll say a gang of claim jumpers are warring with Kemper shooting up the town. So the Marshal asks, what's he doing here anyway? And Francis Parker remembers from part 1, he's keeping his promise. He will kill every man, woman, and child in this town. It's hopeless. Don't do it. Forget that telegraph. Well, he's like, well, then if it's hopeless, then you might as well join Francis Parker, and join he does. So when they go outside, the Marshal tells him, if by some miracle you escape this town, the army will not be looking for you. Francis Parker is officially dead. Because in his message, it's a double lynching, because Francis Parker was supposed to be hanged with old Job, so they confirmed him dead. So if he makes it out alive, change your name or something. And then Francis Parker's like, okay, thank you, Marshall. I appreciate that. But it seems fate is always ready to take it with one hand as it gives it to the other. Just as Francis Parker felt hope rise within him, it was snatched away from him once more as Gunslinger Spawn goes in for the kill. If ever a man can say to have looked death in the face, then he is the man that can say that and live to tell about it. And the man in white, Mammon, tells Gunslinger Spawn, not him. You may kill them all to the last squalling infant, but not him. Old Job seemed reluctant to do his master's bidding. His fingers tightened on his throat, and Francis Parker slipped away into oblivion once more. When he wakes up in the coffin. Where am I? Well, surely is in heaven, said Gunslinger Spawn, as he's more calm because he already enacted his revenge on the town. He was right to spare you. Of all people in this town, you are innocent of this crime. You have nothing more to fear from me, as Gunslinger Spawn stands overlooking his wife and children and his family that were brutally murdered in part 1. My family are in veg now, says Gunslinger Spawn. Then Francis Parker's like, so you'll kill no more? There are none left. So Francis Parker's like, you killed them all? My God, even the children. Before he can finish saying that word, Gunslinger Spawn puts his index finger on his mouth. He's like, shh, Don't speak. I'm gonna take you out of here. You do best not to rile me up, or I may forget that I'm supposed to let you live. And so Francis Parker left the town of Bane, and Gunslinger Spawn as well. For all his strength, dragging him around, Job labored as if the coffin bore all the weight of his sins. And it did. And his sins were many. So when they get to the edge of the cliff, Gunslinger Spawn's like, I'll say farewell to you, then perhaps you'll remember me in your prayers. And he pushes him down the cliff, tied up in the coffin. And that was the last time he saw the pitiful creature that had been Old Job. Not Old Job, but Old Job. Don't even pronounce the D, son. And I'm calling myself son in this video. This is weird. Okay, I'm going back to the content now. So at the bottom of the cliff, Mammon, the man in white, pulls up and he's like, I hope you're not too shaken by your descent. Don't worry, he pulls out a knife. I don't intend to use this knife on you. You are far too precious to me. And Parker's like, precious? But I'm not the one you were looking for. It was Job who took your offer. You said there could only be one. And the man in white's like, yes, in each generation there could only be one Hellspawn. But I'm never wrong. I realize now why you were brought to me. One day there will be a Hellspawn greater than all the others. One who will make this whole world what Job has made of Bane. The seed is in you. I believe one of your forebears, or descendants, will stand by me and rule the world. Here, go to her. Go to your Alma. Have children. I'm a patient man. I can wait. And he leaves. In the coffin, Parker discovers there was a folded sheet of paper, a bill made out to a widow of a man whom it was intended for, Henry Thomas Simmons. He took the name of a dead man and married Alma as Henry Simmons. He never saw the man in white again, but now his wife is expecting their firstborn. A terrible dread has descended upon him, and he writes a letter. I write this for you, my children, for my grandchildren, for all my generations to come. I know that one day he will return to make the offer I refuse. This is my warning. You must turn your back on him. To accept his pact is worse than death. The promise he makes you may taste sweet on your tongue, but the bitter aftertaste will last for eternity. And that is the end of Spawn issue number 175, part 2, the unsettling conclusion of Gunslinger Spawn's origins. What do you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. I thought this was a gangster read. And by the way, I did look up these two issues because Spawn 174 is the first appearance of Gunslinger Spawn and Spawn 175 is the second appearance of Gunslinger Spawn. These two together, they're worth some coin. It's a lot of money, I would say, for a comic, but at the same time, when you're dealing with key issues and a popular character, and I believe Gunslinger Spawn will gain popularity over time, you don't want to buy this comic to read it. You want to buy it as an investment, to hold it and cherish it. That's my thoughts here. So I'm happy that I did a review on this, and I thought this was a gangster read. But with all that being said, Spawn issue number 175, what you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. And also, if you like the content we're throwing up, you know what to do. Don't be shy, don't be stingy. Here at Rated Comics, we do awesome comic book reviews, comic book related content with the occasional comic book giveaway. Also, link in description if you want to check out RatedComics.com for some amazing comic books. We have a lot of Rated Comics exclusives to choose from. Great to add to your collection or just for the sake of reading, but preferably to your collection because they are limited in print. Thank you again for watching. Until next time.